Les sacre bleu, s'il vous plaît.
Pull up a stool and pour yourself a pint as you're about to join three intrepid drinkers, Kevin, Justin, and Mark, as they embark on another Beertastic voyage.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Beertastic Voyage. My name's Kevin.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Justin.
And we have another listener submission from Superfan Jack.
Surprise!
And he has brought us beers from the South.
Yep.
He has brought us three wonderful beers from Jester King Brewery in Austin, Texas, which I have heard. I've never had anything from them, but I've heard many great things.
You have. At my house, we had funk metal, and it was probably not a great bottle.
Okay. I don't remember that one.
No, good thing you don't.
But I know that
particularly good.
I know that Jester King is one of those brands that collectors and traders are always in search of. This is always the one. I want this one. I want that one.
Yeah, I mean, the main reason for it is that they do a lot of open and spontaneous fermentation, in addition to, just sours in general. I mean, they do a lot of other things as well, but that's what the big ticket items are. They're, barrel aged and blended, and they're probably one of the closest things we have to a Belgian brewery in the States. I mean, there are others I'm sure that are similar, but this one is they're right up there with what we were having. Some of the stuff we were having when we had Brian on the 2-year podcast.
Which this is the first time that we're sitting back down at the stable to record again, and I saw a couple of the tags from a few of the beers, and I was like, oh, that one was really good. Oh, that one was really good.
Yeah, that was a good
Which
tag.
is basically what we said about it, which was all of them. It was, oh, that's really good.
Yeah, and the cool thing about these types of beers is they're all good for entirely different reasons. I mean, they could be, and the other thing is you could have 3 bottles of them, and there's going to be variation between them based on how much of what was blended together. It's pretty incredible. But as far as overall background on Jester King, it was started in 2010 by Jeff Stuffings and Michael Steffing.
Stepping and stuffing?
Stuffings, yes. That would have been an interesting brewing name.
Yeah,
Stuffings and Steffing.
Yeah.
Sounds like a law.
It sounds like the joke, the old joke of Fitzpatrick and Fitzwallace and Fitzpatrick or whatever it is. Making fun of the gay Irish.
Yeah.
You know the joke. I'm trying to fucking pull out.
Yes, I do. Hopefully our listeners do as well.
No.
No.
What is it? It's supposed to be like Michael Fitzpatrick and Patrick Fitzmichael or something like that. They're kind of a joke that they fit into each other.
Okay.
I can't remember. It's not a good joke, but I remember.
I like that because Mark's attempting to just get past it, but he can't do it without just being like, nope, still don't understand.
Hold on, let me explain it again. Maybe it'll work this
if
time.
he explains it again, maybe it'll work. It sure won't. All right. So in 2011, I didn't know this. Jester King won a lawsuit against the Texas Alcohol Beverage Commission so that they could sell beer that was higher than the 4%. Apparently, you weren't allowed to classify that as beer in Texas until then, or something along those lines. It was a very small thing I found that I didn't look into any further. I did not click the annotation.
There you go.
Probably 4% alcohol by weight, right?
Did not. The article I read did not specify.
Probably by weight.
Yeah.
So by volume, it's
6.
5.
Yeah.
5.5. Because of course, Bud's got to fit into that.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. And they're not.
Of course,
gonna,
Texas, of course.
Yeah, they're not going to make them brew a separate one for the state.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In January 2016, Jester King purchased. I'm sorry, they're on a 200-acre farm.
Right.
So
Small spot.
yeah, in 2016 they expanded that and decided they were going to purchase 58 additional acres.
Yeah, and then they hired a farmer to work the land for them or something like that.
Well, yeah. So at the time they were planning on making the brewery a little bigger, but in addition they were adding a winery, a distillery, a farm-to-table restaurant as well. So I don't know. I actually believe all those things are there from what I saw on the website.
Yeah, I remember listening to an episode of the Sour Hour podcast, and he was talking with somebody from there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we just hired a farmer. His name's like Eddie or something like that."
This is Eddie.
Yeah, my introduction to Jester King was that funk metal I bought in Philadelphia at one bottle shop, and then brought back. And I can't tell you what was going on, but it wasn't overly tasty. But it had to have been off bottle or something because everyone raves about these beers. I'm very, very excited to try them.
Yeah. What do we have? We have V and Rose, which is a farmhouse ale with raspberries. The Sin Frontera, which is a collaboration with Trois Dimes and Crooked Stave. And then the last one is, what is it? It's barrel-aged sour fermented with peaches. Does it have a name on it?
some Chinese characters.
Yeah, it's got
probably
some
says your mom.
Chinese or Japanese characters.
Yeah,
I don't
pretty
really know.
sure it's Japanese.
Yeah, I don't hobble any of those languages, so I can't tell you.
How very American of you.
Yeah. Oh, it's from Texas.
Yeah, very good point. Actually, yeah, they probably weren't even allowed to sell that in that state.
So which one do you guys want to start with?
I don't know. What do you think, Mark? My vote would be the peach one, because I kind of want to get it out of the way, because I'm thinking if it tastes like peaches, I'm not going to like it.
Okay.
Peaches it is.
I don't think there's a right or wrong way to drink these. They're all
Yeah, I think they're all going to be pretty strong character beers anyway. The peach might be the lightest one, so probably going first might be the best idea so it doesn't get swamped out with the other flavors.
sure. My plan is to try to swamp it out with the other flavors based on the fact that it's peach. We'll see.
I mean, peach isn't really an intense flavor. I don't understand how you feel like it needs to be swamped out. Usually it's
yesterday.
You
So
had a bad
experience. Thank you, Glenn.
What happened? Did you soak the gummy peaches in vodka and try to drink the whole thing?
No. So yes, this is the day after the Long Island Beer and Malt Enthusiast Stein Brew, and I believe that the Whizzes, as Frank has taken to call him Wizard in his family.
The Whizzes.
Yeah.
The Whizzes, yeah.
I believe that they brought a Samuel Adams sour peach beer, but it was made with a peated whiskey malt or something.
Oh god.
Yeah, it was as bad as it sounds.
That sounds a little crazy.
Oh my god. The peated part was the worst part, but the fact that it was peated and then it had like a finish with this little peach aftertaste, I was looking over at the fire and wondering if I could stuff one of the Belgian blocks in my mouth. Burn my tongue out. Oh, let's see here. But wow, that's really, fuck. What is this? There's no name at all.
No, there's no name in English that we can discern.
All right, so the back of this, this is a blend, obviously. Like I said before, they blend everything. But this is blend 5 specifically of this particular one. It's labeled in the back. I don't know what that means. July 2018. So it's pretty new. Peaches from Stonewall, Texas were added to mature barrel-aged sour beer and re-fermented to dryness. Unfiltered, unpasteurized, and 100% naturally conditioned, otherwise known as dregs for the pellicle thing. Feed the beast.
Yeah, I don't know.
He smelled it. He's not sure.
Is peaches one of the things that you're not into either, Mark?
Peaches are okay, but like it's just there's like, and it's kind of peachy. There's like a weird lingering aftertaste.
Yeah,
from this.
I took the words out of my mouth. I took a smell. It does taste, smells faintly like peaches. I get a little bit of malt sweetness in there too. Definitely a little funk. But the smell, I'm like, if this smells like it tastes, I'm not gonna like it.
No, I mean, there's a little bit of it's pretty light. It does come out nice and dry. I like that.
Well, yeah, they definitely dried it out a lot.
I really like it.
It does finish very dry. There's just like a flavor and palate sensation that lingers after the sip, and that
it tastes almost like
really enjoyable to me.
To me, that kind of, I understand the sensation that you're talking about. It's almost like when you get unripe sour fruit. Like it tastes almost like an unripe fruit kind of sourness.
That makes sense.
That's not really it's not a pleasing sour. It's hey, this isn't quite ready yet. I know you guys were all worried before that it would be skunked, and I don't think it's skunked. I mean, I know the green bottle got you guys a little spooked, but I don't think it's anything like that.
I mean, and that goes back to me listening to interviews with Jester King on other podcasts, and they talk about it like, oh yeah, like they're of the mindset that the Belgians use green glass bottles because the Belgians take the skunkiness into account in the flavor profile of the beer they make. And other people are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I mean, I guess that's a possibility, but I don't really know why. I don't think you would really do that. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't know. I can't. They would definitely know better than me. I would bet against them personally, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were right because I don't know shit. I don't hate it. I definitely don't hate it. It's not awful. It's very white wine because especially the dryness. Before the kind of peach finish, I would have bet money that it was fairly highly carbonated white wine.
Yeah. I think this would be a great summertime drinker. It tastes almost like peach sangria.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
a fair point.
peach or apricot sangria kind of thing. Like, I think with some cold fruit, you could pass it off as sangria too. But I like it.
Mark's just like looking at his glass and just keeps shaking his head. Like it's like fucking freaky.
I can't do it. It is not pleasing to me.
Well, I'll kick off the ratings on this one, and I'm going to give it a pint. I actually teetered a little towards bomber, so I like a little more than a glass. I probably might, given the opportunity, I might have two. Probably not in a row.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go pint on it. Not as bad as I anticipated.
For me, it would be a bomber. I think 2 glasses of this is spot on. I really enjoy it. I'm actually going to go back and pour a little bit more in there. I know you guys are not going to fight me on this one.
No, go get it.
But I think the dryness is nice. I like the little bit of sweetness, and I think and this is the first beer I've had in a while, and the first drink of the day for me. And I think it's a really good one to start the day with, or at least start a session with.
Yeah.
Like kind of get you prepped. It preps the palate a little bit.
I'm glad we did this one first too, because I would imagine this is probably of them definitely going to be far more delicate than the other ones.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it the pint, but it's gonna take me a long time.
It's gonna be a marathon pint, yeah. That's funny. like convincing yourself, because it's not shitty. Like it's definitely not bad. It's just definitely not your jam.
No, exactly. It's one of those things where it's like I ordered it because it seemed good on the menu, but like, all right, I'll finish it and then we're getting something else.
It's the last one left on the paddle when they bring out the little taster.
Yeah, and for Mark, I could see it being. Hey, there's even some left on there. But yeah, you can send it back.
But to be fair, as far as the dregs go, I don't think that the yeast has anything to do with you not liking that. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to make. We have plenty of shit in there. We don't need to add more, but. It's I think that I would imagine that that this isn't getting much the funk part I like, the peach part I didn't.
Yeah, I mean at this point too though, like
you have so much going on in that thing.
Yeah, I like at this point I don't know that the addition of any other sour beer dregs to it is really going to have a drastic effect.
No, it's currently its own thing. Its name is.
I mean, there's Jolly Pumpkin shit in there, and from what I understand, the Jolly Pumpkin stuff is, pretty potent.
Yeah, I'll be bringing a 2013 Jolly Pumpkin to New Year's because my wife is never going to drink it, so I'll make her drink a little there, and we'll enjoy the rest of it. I'll send you home with the dregs from that. You can add that to that monstrosity.
You should just pour it in her mouth when she's taking a nap on the couch.
If it wasn't a $45 bottle of beer, I would. Like if she had randomly bought a 6-pack of the Dunkin' the Harpoon Dunkin' beer and then didn't drink that, then I would do it with that. But
wait, how much does that thing cost?
It's like well, that's not $45.
Oh.
A 6-pack though was I think $17.
No, it was on sale. Though when I first saw it, it was on sale for like $12 or something.
Really? Okay. Maybe Dave just I don't know. It was crazy. I could have sworn that Dave.
Well, that was in supermarket.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My prices that I see most of the time are usually supermarket prices because I don't have time to go run to the bottle shop, and I spend way too much time in supermarkets.
You might as well get something out of it. But no, that makes more sense. $12.99. That's not terrible.
Yeah.
I had some of that yesterday too, and that was pretty good stuff.
I saw it and I just went, I'm not gonna bother with that.
No, it's not. It's a gimmick. It's a halfway decent coffee stuff. Right. We've had way better coffee stuff.
Oh well, when we were at Blue Point on Tuesday.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They were having a powwow talking about like, what are they gonna do next? And they were talking about cereal beers.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have some cereal beer challenge or something. I don't know the brewers there.
Right.
We overheard something.
I'll drink a Cheerio beer.
Yeah. Well, Mark and I watched a show called Basic Brewing, and it's a podcast and it's also a YouTube channel. It's been around for like 8 years.
I've heard of that one. I've never watched anything, but I've heard it.
It's pretty cool. They did every October for Halloween. He does a Halloween beer, and it's usually cereal based. And this year he did a blueberry beer. I don't remember what kind it was. It was a blueberry something or other.
I think it was a Pilsner.
Something like I have no idea. So what is this beautiful like fucking garnet colored thing we got here?
This is the V and Rose, a farmhouse ale re-fermented with raspberries, and it really is a gorgeous like rosé, like a dark rosé color.
Yeah. That's exactly
This sum of parts, both new and used, frees itself from mankind's craving to exist beyond prop and muse, to be neither consumed nor saved. Advance as they fixate on flesh. Let their constructs fall to your will, for man has crafted your confines, but you've built the tool to break them. Jester
Is that
King.
a beer bottle or a philosophy text?
Yes. Jester King is the authentic part of that. We don't need to read that part.
Batch number 7.
Yes, this is batch number 7. It comes in at 5.8% ABV, and the ingredients listed are Hill Country well water, malted barley, wheat, oats, raspberries, hops, mixed culture, brewer's yeast, native yeast, bacteria. Notes: La Vie and Rose is a dry, unspiced farmhouse ale re-fermented with raspberries already once used in the fermentation of Jester King. Atrial rubicite, native yeast and bacteria impart a sense of place. This is unfiltered, unpasteurized, 100% naturally conditioned beer. Yeah, that's all I got on it. Doesn't really.
Second use raspberries, you said?
Apparently, yes.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense actually, based on the both the aroma and the flavor. It's pleasing, the raspberry part, but it's definitely muted than what I would expect.
Well, yeah, I mean, but the nose on this is definitely just like straight up raspberry.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, I catch a little bit of that sour, farmy aroma.
Yeah, I was going to say that I definitely get a muted raspberry, but I get not a lot, but just a hint of like shitty descriptors for a show you're listening to, but with funk, it's like
it's
it's sort of slight barnyard.
Hay. It tastes kind of like stale hay, like old hay kind of smell.
In a good way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm into this.
I mean, it's not that. I think it's got to be closer to the hay or straw rather than not going to get like the horse blanket kind of smell to it. It's not that strong. Doesn't have the sweat and tangy to it.
The
smell is just delicious. I haven't even gotten to a sip yet, but the smell is just incredible.
The aroma is very, very appetizing, and what I like about it is it's truly, raspberry is one of those things that get added to a sour a lot. I mean, Blender Vices, I think probably at least 50% of them that get fruity get raspberries. It seems like, and it's not that. It's not a Wow, Kevin just unhinged his jaw like a snake.
No, I'm sorry. I took a sip and it was really pleasing, and then right at the very end, it got a really sharp bite of raspberry, and I'm gonna go back.
Wow.
And I'm gonna go back to that kind of like unripe fruit flavor. Like I've had raspberries grown in my backyard. Well, now my dad's backyard for years, and you just go out and you pick some, and every once in a while you get one that looks good, but it's just not quite ready yet, and or like that pistachio that just is, whoa, that's wrong,
Right.
And that's kind of like the flavor that I just got in the back, and it was not pleasing, but I'm hoping it'll kind of go away with the next sip.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably, maybe I was wrong with the previous one, probably potentially characteristic of whatever yeast blend they're using, because I had a similar thing with the peaches, and I think I don't know if it's as sharp or maybe you didn't expect it, but I have that lingering feeling in the back of my mouth. I don't hate it. It's just that kind of, I don't know how to describe it. It's like a little thick thing just kind of sticking back there. I don't know how to describe it. You get the same thing, Mark?
Yeah, no, I definitely get it, but I don't feel like. I feel like it's softer in this beer than in the peach one.
Yes, it definitely is. I can agree with that.
Yeah, the second and third sips that I had of it definitely did not. I guess because I knew it was coming, it wasn't quite as shocking.
Yeah.
To me, but this is really good, and it tastes as close as the last one was to like white wine. Like this one is to rosé. Like it really is a good example of that. And I'm getting a little bit of the alcohol warming in the back of my throat, kind of like like when you exhale after a shot, that kind of warmth there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting that a little bit as I keep talking, and I feel it creeping up the back of my throat.
As it warms, I'm getting more burnt tire on the nose, just a little bit, tiny hint of it. And I think that also is contributing to the sensation I'm getting, or we're all getting in the back of our throats, is that particular phenol.
I could see that being. That makes more sense. There's so much. I mean, we talked about it with the episode of Brian, but there's so much that goes on with like sour beers that it's so hard to say. You can't say that that's what that flavor is or this. It's so difficult to really be able to put words to exactly what flavor you're experiencing sometimes.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that it'll be cool. We'll let the last part of the peach one, and we're not going to drink all these now, but we'll let them sit out for a little bit too. We can revisit them a little later and see what they kind of turn into as they warm up.
Yeah. As it warms, I think it gets a little more robust in the flavor. You know, the farmhouse notes become a little more clear and a little bit firmer.
I could drink a lot of water.
What Mark's getting text messages and giggling to himself. So either someone's sending him nudie pics, or he's got something good.
It's probably Glenn. Glenn said
No.
dick pics again, right?
No, it's actually Sean Walls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sean Walls is sending you dick pics? I don't know this guy, but
Yeah.
He's in the beer club, and
Okay.
he started texting me earlier today. He's like, help, I'm in the brew shop, and they don't have any de-bittered grains. Like de-bittered black malt. I'm like,
What brew shop is he in?
he was at Carp's.
Oh, God. Tell him to take a little trip to Patchogue.
Danny's not open Sundays.
I know. Tell him to go at a different time. Stop working Saturdays. Stop it, Sean. Stop.
But anyway, I coached him through that, and I just got a message from him saying that. So after that, we never brewed because I couldn't find the grain mill.
So what'd you do? Just tell him to steep it?
Yeah, like I told him, like you're either gonna have to cap the mash with it or do a side steep.
That's funny. Well, good luck, Sean. Have fun. Couldn't find the grain mill. That's a fucking weird thing to lose, man. Couldn't find the grain mill. That's not like a thing you can really lose. Like not, even in your garage, you can't lose the fucking grain mill.
They're fairly large, yeah.
Yeah.
listen, I never doubt the ability of people to lose things. You know, if I can forget where I parked my car in a parking lot, and that's a pretty damn big thing. Like,
Fair point.
You can lose a grain mill in a garage.
Fair point.
But as far as this beer is concerned, what do you got, Mark? We haven't heard a lot on your thoughts of this one.
I mean, it's definitely more enjoyable than the peach one to me, but I still don't particularly dig it. Maybe because it is very wine-like, and wine is not my thing.
Right.
But the raspberry component is definitely nice. But just the finish, between the dryness and the funk that's in there, it's not something I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta track me down some more bottles of this.
I can agree that I wouldn't like run across town to get some, but I like it significantly more than the peach one. It's hard to they're very unique.
Yeah.
I mean, even including the beers that we had with Brian, the flavors of these are much more subtle than almost all the ones we had there. And that's, I like them. They're just sort of in a class of their own so far for me. These are, the last two beers are, I don't know that I've had a lot of other things quite like them, but I think I've had way more Belgian and sour beers than your average person.
I'm interested to, the peach one we had is from July, and this one I think is also from July as well. I'm wondering if maybe we're just drinking these a little too early.
I don't think so, because I'm going to imagine they've been in a barrel for probably a year to 2 years before they even blended them.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking when they blended them and sent them out, this was like, this is what we want.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not saying they wouldn't change or wouldn't, but I don't think the flavors are going to get any stronger than they are now.
Now that you mention it, this one, the rosé one, does kind of, I think it said something on the bottle somewhere of, beers to be drank.
Yeah.
Not necessarily stored for a long time, but for me, this one, I actually...
Suitable for vegetarians and vegans.
Well, that's good.
No isinglass.
Oh, I thought there was like sausage or something. I'm going to give it the same rating as the last one. I'm going to go with a bomber of it as well. Like, I think 2 glasses of it is where I'm at. But I would say that I kind of like it a little bit less than the peach one.
Okay.
Just because when it is come to wine drinking time, I am a white wine drinker as opposed to a red wine drinker. And rosé is not usually the one that I go with. Being kind of like to me, it's like the bastard offspring of the two of them. But I think
skins or no skins, none of this half-ass shit.
I'm imagining like people, the basketball thing always, shirts for skins, and I'm imagining the one guy running around in like, half a shirt.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
What team are you on? I don't know, who's winning?
I'm not kidding. In camp one time, we had shirts and skins, and one guy took his shirt off and then took his pants off. And we were like, why are you doing that? Like, Who told you that was a good
We
idea?
said shirts and skins, not shirts and foreskins.
Right, yeah. I mean, we were like 7.
Yeah.
But that made it even weirder. Like, in hindsight, I'm like, what were they doing to that kid at home?
Yeah, it does make you ask a couple questions.
Right.
But I think both of these so far, like, I think if you had wine drinkers that want to drink a beer, like, I think they could get behind both of these really easily.
Yeah.
And people that aren't necessarily familiar with sour beers, I think, could get behind the two of these beers too.
Yeah.
How about you, Justin? What's your rating?
My rating's going to be a bomber. I think it's right there. I'd really like 2 glasses of that. I think that I could drink 2 glasses of that. In fact, I finished up the sample I had here. I probably could have taken another 15 minutes of like just kind of sipping it to myself.
Yeah.
I think it's something, we can pontificate over for a period of time. Where are you at?
It's still a pint for me, but it's not going to be as arduous a task of finishing it as the peach.
Okay. You're not going to need to go upstairs and get your tongue brushed?
Yeah, get the scraper out there and just, rip it off. So this one is the menage a trois of collaborations here.
What was the name of the one we don't know? I want to look that up real quick.
The peaches?
The peach one?
You're asking us what's the name of the beer that we don't know the name of?
No, I'm not. I said that we don't know. The third
brewery.
brewery.
See,
Kevin and I both thought you were talking about the peach beer.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
It's Trois Dames. It's TROISDAMES. So 3 ladies. And here you go, Justin. This one pours out with a really nice gold color, almost like a honey color to it.
Wow. Yeah, it does. Well, you guys get a hold of that. I'm gonna strap in and read this.
Yeah, there's some there's a couple pages on there.
All right.
Gonna
This
let
is
that
like my wife's wedding vows. Thanks to a collapse of national borders and a glitch in the space-time continuum, there is now a place that contains all the best places. Oh my fucking god!
I was gonna wait till it was done. But yeah.
I hate you.
I have that on video somewhere.
I have it. I have it on video in fucking HD.
Maybe I'll just drop it in.
Sure, go ahead. I too also. It's over. Done. Okay, I'm gonna start over again. Fuck you guys. Thanks to a collapse of national borders and a glitch in the space-time continuum, there is now a place that contains all the best places. Sweet Holodex Sweet Holodex. Okay, yeah, whatever.
Is that like Texarkana?
Something like that. Is your new home without boundaries? I'm gonna guess that the other one is Swiss. I'm not sure. Anyway. Not only does it boast gently rolling hill country, but also majestic Alps and craggy Rockies. It's like visiting 3 places at once. Come stay with us in what may well be the finest land on Earth, the land of Sin Frontera. Yeah. Wow, I want that time back. Cool. Refrigerate minimum for 24 hours before opening.
Yeah, that was on the
right.
too.
Yes.
Okay, we got that covered.
This blend of Sin Frontera, the second iteration of our collaboration with Crooked Stave and Trois Dames, uses a similar recipe to the first, but deviates by maturing in cognac casks rather than sherry casks. Unfiltered, unpasteurized, and 100% bottle conditioned. And it did not explode in our faces.
When it says cognac cast, that's probably a good descriptor of the color of it, of almost like a cognac or a whiskey kind of color to it. But, smell on it's interesting.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, intense.
Yeah, this one, you know how I was saying the other ones were really subtle?
This is not so subtle.
No, this one gives you a real nice kick right to the marbles. I'm not getting a lot on the aroma, but I also poured mine and then let it sit open like a jackass.
No, it's not strongly aromatic.
It's really not. But you're right. The flavor is much more intense.
It's sour and mildly funky, but it's not terribly aromatic.
It's a nice blend between a funk and lactic sour.
Yeah.
In the flavor, you kind of get a little lactic up front, and you're like, oh, this is gonna be refreshing, and then you kind of get some of that funk on the back of your tongue, and you realize it's not necessarily refreshing, but you still want more.
I think you kind of get that trace feeling of the cognac. Now, cognac is, if I remember right, it's like a strong. It's made from grapes, right? It's like an overproof brandy kind of stuff, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
You've already said more things than I know
All
about.
right. Like I'm pretty certain it's a great product, and I know it's got to be from a certain region and all that other kind of bullshit. But you do kind of get a little bit of that boozy flavor aroma to it.
I'm trying to look around the microphone. Why are you laughing?
Because you're like,
Okay. All right, now I get it. I'm looking at you now, and if I look like that, yeah, I look like an asshole. Yeah, everything you said is basically true.
All right.
It's brandy, basically, made with grapes.
Yeah, it's old brandy.
Yeah.
The things the dried grapes on the label here.
that look like skulls.
Yeah, that clearly have faces in them.
I thought those were potatoes.
I thought potatoes at first too.
I mean, they're obviously not. It makes no sense.
There's that I don't know what they call that meme. The one with like the really poorly drawn face where he's like,
Oh yeah, that's been They did a whole documentary on that thing.
You know the thing I'm talking about. They look, and one of them even looks kind of like that, but like they look like they're all drawn to kind of be similar with that, and then crossed with the raisin. Right? See that guy right there? See, isn't that one?
Oh yeah, that's definitely what that is.
Yeah. This one's really interesting. I really like this one.
I also enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm getting more of that warmth. It's got a little bit of sour flavor, but it's very reserved.
Yeah, what was the ABV on it? See if I can find it.
It is definitely my favorite of the three.
It's also my favorite of three. 6.7.
That's solid.
Yeah. It has the funny thing is, if you would just serve this to me and said, here is a sour beer from Jester King,
Right.
I wouldn't have guessed anything about cognac. I wouldn't have nothing about that. I've never had cognac, so I can't say if there's a hint of flavor of it.
Right.
But I would just get a nice barnyard quality with some lactic sour balance. Really good.
No, that little bit of like boozy grape kind of flavor to it.
Yeah.
That's the cognac flavor.
Okay. I feel like I've had a similar flavor from other funky sour beers, but it could just be that it goes so well with it.
But I'm saying like that's what that little bit of flavor in there is. I think this is really good. It's insanely well crafted together. And it's probably I think it's the most complete beer of the three that we've had. Like as far as hitting all the notes that make me on things that I like. It doesn't feel like there's one thing that I go, I'm like, I'm not really huge on that, or that part, not so much. Like, no, this one all around is really incredible. So, I'm excited by it. But you got to hang out with it. It's not a get crunk on it beer. It's not a pounded beer. Like it's a hang out with this beer.
Yeah, if you try to pound some of these and drank it quickly, the palate fatigue would be pretty nuts. Your tongue would cramp.
Yeah, no, I want to hang out and. If we were hanging out playing a board game, like I would love to have a glass of this, like just kind of be chilling as we're playing the game and not be rushing through it at all.
Right.
What about you, Mark? But I know you said that you like this one the most, but what are your feelings on it? Are you picking up any kind of different flavors than we mentioned, or?
No, it definitely has a bit of the grapiness, but definitely the flavor is dominated by the sour and the funk.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a pretty nice balance between those two. I really quite enjoy it.
I would be really interested to see what the first iteration. They said it was in a different kind of cask.
Sherry.
Yeah,
so it's basically a newer version of the.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting one because sherry's a little bit stronger flavor. That I think it might be a very different flavor beer.
Oh, I'm sure.
But this is one that I'd like to have around, and this is one that I think this is what I'm really impressed by this one, and this is the one that I can say that I'm drinking it and going, oh, this is why people go nuts looking for this guy, for these guys, because this is that high enough quality to me.
I think that what I'm enjoying the most is there are 3 very different beers made by the same place with probably very similar techniques. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they didn't even know what they were going to get in the end.
Right.
And they all turned out pretty damn good, you know? Because they can do another blend in a year from now, and that one could be a lot, you know, each one of the other ones could be a lot stronger flavored. So, you know, being able to do a vertical of them would be cool. I mean, that's never going to happen. But
yeah, that's not going to
it's
happen.
be so difficult. You
But-
literally would have to travel there every
Right.
year around the same time to get the same thing and hope they made it again.
It is almost time for a Black Friday vertical.
Can we do one again?
Yeah.
I have 16. I don't have any other. I mean, I have last year's, but other than that, I have nothing.
I have I have
16,
17,
17,
Yeah, but
18.
does somebody have a 17?
I do.
Yeah,
You do,
I have
okay.
17.
That's fine. I have no 17.
I still have 17.
Wait, of course I do. It's in a can. 17 was last year, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
16,
sorry.
16, you're saying, in the
Yeah,
bottle.
I have 16 in the bottle,
I
and
still
I
have-
have 17.
I have 16 in the
yeah.
bottle, 17 in the can also.
Okay.
And I think I mentioned it to you already the other day when I saw you. I still have one of those bottles of coffee still floating around from.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, from the Brewers Collectors?
One
Yeah.
one bottle's still left.
I actually
Nice.
do too. I found one in the back of my fridge.
And as I was looking around and rearranging the fridge a little bit, I was like, oh, I still got one of those.
Nice.
Awesome.
All right, what are we giving this one rating wise? Where are you at, Mark?
This one I'll give the Bomber. Like I said, I definitely enjoy it a lot more. It's definitely, I don't know if challenging is necessarily the right word, but it's a lot more thirst quenching to me than the previous two.
That's a good thirst quenching is a good way of putting it. I like the word challenging though, because I know what you mean. It's kind of that like, as you're drinking it, you kind of can keep thinking about it. You know what I mean? It's another one to pontificate on. I'm gonna go growler. It's kind of a weak growler because I'm definitely not drinking 64 ounces of this in a row, without question. But that's what I would kind of want to probably drink over the course of a day. Maybe if I were, you know, somewhere with other beer geeks hanging out and sharing it and going, "Hey, can I try this? What do you think?" And then all talking. So we're gonna go growler on it for me.
For me, it's going to fall right in the Bomber. You know, it comes in the champagne bottle, and that's the perfect bottle for it. Like, I think over the course of a long evening, I could work my way through the bottle and be really happy about it. I like it, and you know, considering that the one that you mentioned earlier from Jester King, that we had at your house, was not memorable to us.
I think it was
which
rubber in all the bad ways.
Yeah, the bottle was past prime.
Yeah, and the first two were interesting, but not necessarily like, hey, I'm going to hunt these down. This is one that if I saw it in a shop, I might think about grabbing the bottle and say, if it's at the right price, I might grab it and be like, you know what? I'll bring this one home. I'll hang on to this one for a little bit. So to me, that really, not that I had lost faith in it, but said, you know, like I said, made me say, you know what, I kind of get why people get excited about this brewery.
Yeah, and I have to definitely thank Jack. These, I cannot imagine that these were even remotely inexpensive to purchase, and the fact that he would give these to us is pretty incredible. So
yes, absolutely. Thank you so much, Jack. As always, you have been fantastically generous with your gifts. So thank you.
Yes.
What I want to do is just take 1 minute for you guys to talk about something that I knew was happening, but I had no idea what's happening last weekend or like last week, and that was you guys got the chance to make the beer over at Blue Point Brewery. You made your Lich King finally.
Yes.
So please tell me. I saw 2 quick pictures on Facebook and one little video of a paddle turning around. And that was about it, but I don't know anything else about it. I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you guys, so tell me about it.
That's kind of what we saw.
What was
too.
that experience?
It was cool. It was interesting. Both Mark and I have brewed at other breweries before, like, you know, professional breweries, mostly small tasting rooms and stuff like that. We've at least seen their systems and been around them.
Right.
This shit is crazy.
So, how big? Do you know how big the system is that they were?
60 barrels.
60 barrels.
Right. They made 40 barrels of the Listerner.
Right. And now, just for like comparison.
If you say the word swimming pool, I'm going to physically attack you.
No.
I'm just checking.
No, there's not going to be no swimming pool comparison.
No math.
Yeah.
But we were excited that the guys at Dubco expanded to a 10-barrel system, right?
Yeah.
and went from like a 3-barrel system to a 10-barrel system.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm picturing in my head. I feel like the 10-barrel to 15-barrel system is kind of like what a lot of these small breweries that we're used to hanging out in, like, kind of have.
Yeah, like Brewers Collective, I think is 5, and then the 10 is the thing is when you go from 5 to 10, at least in my mind, when I look at the vessels, like 10 looks like whoa, fuck, man.
Yeah.
And then you're up on a gangway staring at a 60-barrel one, and you're like, I don't even know what to do with this. Like this, I could live inside this. This is this is where you like it looked like the Dr. Evil Shark Tank with the freaking laser beam.
Freaking laser beam.
What Justin was talking about, when we were up on the gangway, over the mash tun. So there's.
I mean, that's how tall is that thing? That's got to be like 25 feet tall.
No, I would say it's probably about 12 feet tall.
It's like a story and a half. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But still, it was just under 1,500 pounds of grain. Plus all of the water in the mash tun with that crazy boat paddle spinning around
Dude,
at the bottom.
It looked like a ceiling fan someone threw in there, but like a really big one, and then it turned on. And if you were in there, forget about getting chopped in pieces by that thing. It would suck you under and drown you so fast. It was the amount of just the turbid water in there.
Really?
Standing next to it, you were looking at it, and I even said to Mark, when you see the water going insane in there. There's 2,000 gallons of water spinning around like it's in a Vitamix.
Okay.
And you touch the side of the vessel, and it's like
hot.
marginally vibrating. Like that's how solid this thing is. It is like it has a low hum, and that's it. It was the grain mill.
Yeah.
The grain coming in was louder than the actual turbine.
Wow. That's crazy.
It was pretty nuts. The whole thing's automated, like soup to nuts.
Yeah.
The 2 manual processes are putting water salts in, which they do, I think, just because they do something. Because there's a way to do that automatically they don't use.
Right.
And then the
specialty
grains, because they're not going to have silos for every specialty grain.
Right.
You dump all specialty grain into a hopper.
And then that just loads in as it needs to also.
Right. And the silo, the whole thing's on the computer screen. They point and click, and it's all weighed and brought in. And it's like pre-weighed into a thing and then sucked in, and it's crazy.
Right.
They have
what do they call it? They auger, right?
Yeah.
They auger it over?
Yeah, they auger it over, but it weighs it out of the silo without anyone doing anything.
That's awesome.
The craziest shit was the pump to bring it from the mash tun to the water tun. Like I look at the screen and I see that it says 700 and change, and then I look at the little thing next to it and it says barrels per hour. The pump was rolling at 700 barrels an hour.
Shit. So it must have taken no time at all to drain that thing out.
No, I mean they kind of slow it down on purpose to not wreck the grain bed at some point and everything.
Right.
But
I mean, so they had the new brewery is a 5-vessel system.
All right, and that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
It was at the new brewery, right?
Yes.
They have a separate water tun from the mash tun.
Okay.
So the mash happens, then the wort and grain, everything gets transferred to the water tun.
Can I pause you for 1 second? I'm going to ask you to go back. Let me make sure I got it right. The mash tun is the one that has the water in it, that has where you're cooking the grain.
Correct.
And the water tun is the one with the hot water that you pour over the grain. Correct.
No, that's the hot liquor tank.
That's the hot liquor tank.
Yeah.
Okay.
They don't need a hot liquor tank because they have a pump system.
Right. Okay. So the water tun is what then?
The water tun is where you separate the sweet wort from the grain.
Okay. So after you drain.
Most
the
breweries
mash off.
that happens in the same vessel.
Okay.
Their system, those are 2 separate vessels.
That's so they can do turns.
Right.
Because they have 4 240-barrel fermenters.
Wow.
Yeah. They're fucking huge.
That's
I
amazing.
can't even describe how big they are. Again, I was lucky enough a couple of years ago or last year, I can't remember, 2 years ago, to go to the old Blue Point on River Avenue
Right.
for the Craft Cares Brewery. And they have giant fermenters there too.
Yeah.
And I thought those were big. These are colossal. It's almost like you're like they don't use that. That's just a thing for to impress people.
Yeah.
So they'll do 4 turns of 60 barrels consecutively. So this way they can water while they're mashing in again, and then they just keep rolling down the line.
So they drain off the wort, clean it out, mash it again, and then they just turn it.
They mash new grain.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. New grain and new hot water goes in.
Yeah, so the next mash happens while they're watering the previous one.
Okay, and it's been a little while since I've done everything. Refresh me on watering again.
Watering is just
Literally pouring the new water.
It's literally draining the sweet wort out of the grain
Okay,
and then
just draining it.
Okay.
rinsing
Okay.
all the other
sparkling,
sugars that you
okay.
can't have.
And then it goes into
I know you guys have been like.
Oh yeah.
It's been a little while for me, like that I've gone through the whole process.
Yeah, we're balls deep in it, so it's like
Yeah.
second nature. Though I'll be honest, it's still hard for me because I don't know if you've ever done a 3-vessel process, but at least you did the mash in a bag, which is still a little different. Like I'm used to like 1 vessel, like brew in a bag, like throw the bag away. So I constantly forget about sparging. Like it's not a thing I ever.
Oh
done.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
like when they the brewer Steve that ended up being stuck with us in the afternoon. He took the gravity reading on the first runnings, and it was 20 Play-Doh, which is roughly 1080 specific gravity.
Okay.
And one of the senior manager guys, Mike Stoney, was like, "Oh, does that sound about right from what you were getting?" And I'm like, because it was like 20 Play-Doh. I'm like, that means 1080 specific gravity. I'm like, that sounds way too high. Like this beer is
1030.
I'm like, this beer is less than 4% alcohol. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's not the full volume because we haven't sparged yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to cut it down considerably.
Gotcha.
So from the water time,
I was missing that whole portion of the story.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because
you're going to get a lot of
first runnings
residuals.
are going to be much denser in sugar.
Right, but you're going to get a lot of sugar from from the second time.
Yeah, but it's going to be diminishing returns. Like you.
Right, but it's still going to add into it.
Well, no, it's actually going to reduce because we're going to add more water at the same time.
Okay.
So we're going to double the volume of water, and we're not going to double the volume of
Okay, so then that would lower the specific starting specific gravity,
correct,
which would lower the
ABV
at the end of the day.
Based on the fact that it came in at 1080, I can't imagine we don't come in a little higher than what our beer was at.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Possibly.
So what was the OG when you started? What in your version?
Like 1034 or 1040 or something like that. I can't remember.
Now, is there kind of like a rule of thumb, like every 10 points, like 1080 would yield 5, so 1070 would yield 4, 9.
Not exactly, because
it's all about how far it goes, right?
Yeah, you can also stop it early and stuff. I mean, I'm sure that there's a rough, like, if you're going to use USO5 as an example, a very standard yeast. I'm sure that there's some way of doing that.
Okay.
But in general, it's going to be very yeast dependent.
Okay, that makes sense.
So when we brewed it,
check it back on your notes.
Yeah, the original gravity was 1040.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that is significant difference.
Yeah, half what the the first readings were, but like I'm like thinking like this can't be right. Like, and I was like, oh wait a minute, first runnings, like they still got to rinse a bunch of water through that, and it's gonna dilute it.
Yeah. So then they suck it over to their boil kettle, and the boil kettle essentially has a Herms tube, which is an element, a Herms tube, which is an
It's a
element
heat
in it,
exchanger.
an element in it that will heat water. So the mash tun is steam heated.
Right.
The boil kettle is
it's
actually
a steam jacket kettle, right?
Yeah,
Basically,
yeah. It's not that the boil kettle is not.
The
mash tun.
It's a steam jacket. Yeah.
The kettle isn't steam jacketed.
No, I'm saying the mash tun is.
The mash tun is steam jacketed.
Okay. Yeah, the boil kettle, it gets sucked into this tube with a gigantic heating element in it. I wish I could have seen the thing. I mean, I have a big ass heating element in my kettle.
Right.
This has got to be on an order of like a million times higher. It's
I figure
crazy.
it's just like a car engine. It's just running around.
It's nuts. And the tube was what do you think it was? 12 inches? The tube,
Yeah,
probably 12
like
inch stainless steel tube. So it pumps through there.
Jake can crawl through it.
Easy. No kidding. And it gets heated in that tube and then put back into the boil kettle.
Okay.
So they can heat it it can get to boiling pretty, extremely quickly.
Yeah.
And from there, it's going to go to like a hop back to get, the hops and put in if they're going to, or some they were telling us they put coconut in there sometimes, like, and then finally it's going to go into the whirlpool where they settle everything out.
Okay.
Our beer, because it was a kettle sour, was a little different because you can't put the hops in yet. Yeah. You can't sour with hops.
Right, because it kills the yeast.
Exactly.
Not the yeast, the
bacteria. Exactly. So we went mash tun, lauter, and we also had a significant amount of rye.
Right.
And
so was the rye something that they put in the hopper that they dig in, or they had the rye?
No, rye is part of the mash.
They have a rye silo?
No, that was part of the specialty grains we dumped.
That was the only actual work Justin and I did that was dumping the rye and the smoked malt into the specialty grain hopper.
So my favorite part of the day is looking at Mark, right? So we're getting ready to lauder. I looked at Mark and I go, so how screwed do you think we are because we have such a high percentage of grain? And he was like, yeah, it's probably not going to be good. Rye has no husk. So it basically turns to concrete when you try to lauder through it, and so typically you'll add something called rice hulls to it to make it a little more porous, so it kind of like filters
makes
through.
Sense, yeah.
Well, Mark didn't. I mean, I'm not blaming Mark. Mark didn't put that into the recipe because we do brew in a bag and don't give a fuck.
Right.
Like we don't have to do that. So we had assumed that somebody
would look at it and go, "This is 40-something% rye. We needed to add some rice hulls to this."
Yeah.
That didn't happen. So the lauder took a while, but it was interesting to see how it worked. Inside the lauder tun, they have these rakes that if you don't stare intently at them, you can't even tell they're moving. They move so slowly.
Really?
You have to be like you're staring at them, it becomes like a magic eye puzzle to see if they're moving. And once it feels a certain amount of pressure, like I don't know what it was rated in, I forget, or PSI maybe or something.
Yeah.
It gets past a certain like alarm point. It does something called a deep dig, or
A deep cut.
Deep cut. So it digs down farther, breaks up more of the bed, but then has to reset the bed so it can filter through it. So it adds like every time that happens, it adds like 10 minutes.
Oh wow!
So
How many times did it hit that?
only once or twice.
And then Steve went in and changed the alarm point for that. It added like another 100 to it.
Yeah.
Because there was still like pretty decent runoff happening.
Yeah, we were getting like 17 barrels an hour from what he told us. That was more than enough. Like they usually get more than that.
So
Right.
it made it through the initial water, and then it started sparging.
Right.
And when it switched to sparging, that parameter automatically reset to the lower value.
So it went deep cut again right away.
The jets turned on the sparge, and 3 seconds later they turned off again, and it started another deep cut.
Yeah, you're like, that's not working.
Yeah, it was.
We need more power.
The level of automation to me was the most impressive part. At the same time, I can understand if you had to fill a 240 barrel fermenter and you got to do 4 turns, that system is like the shit.
Yeah.
Because at that point, like nobody wants to do any manual work. You're like, I don't want to do this 4 times today.
But that's how you're going to get enough, toasted lager out to the people.
Precisely. So I mean, it was really cool. I mean, then we got a tour of the bottling facility. I think that Chris told us that the bottles, like can do 15,000 bottles an hour.
I don't remember. They're ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts. The whole thing was everything. They have a machine that literally folds and packs the 6-packs. Like it goes from a flat piece of cardboard to 6-packs to filled. And then the 6-packs go into another little box, the little box you get when you leave the flat. Thank you.
Yeah, so
that gets
4 6-packs.
That gets glued and folded by a machine.
Yep.
Like, I mean, I know in my brain that all these things happen.
Right, but seeing it actually happen,
and also seeing it at a brewery on Long Island.
And it's also automatically stacked up onto a pallet.
That it palletizes itself is really cool.
It palletizes itself and it shrinks wraps.
Do you know what was even more impressive to me?
I hate auto shrink wraps, but that's just me. And that's comes from me working.
That's because you have to break it down.
Yes, and because that's a different story. Whatever.
It actually, when the bottles come in, they're obviously palletized, like before they get labeled and everything go into the machine.
Bottles and cans.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It depalletizes the bottles.
Really?
And then restacks the pallets. Like the machine is
like
insane.
The machine stacks the pallets.
They shove a stack of pallets into the thing, and it comes out as bottles labeled, and then out of the other side comes a stack of the pallets.
A stack of empty pallets.
Yeah. Wow. It's wild.
That's crazy.
The kegging machine was wild too. I wish I remembered the number of kegs they could do, but there was basically 8 stations with different stages of cleaning and filling, etc., and capping, and it was
endless, right?
Just pouring through. I mean, it wasn't quite as big as I think Chris was telling us that they went to see an AV InBev one in Milwaukee or something like that. St. Louis, at 10 barrel, and they were doing 50,000 bottles an hour.
And you said this one was doing
15, something like that. I don't know. It was crazy though, man. It was a lot of fun and really nice. At first I was kind of bummed that it was so automated, like we weren't like kind of doing it. And I would still, I would never say no to brewing beer again. Yeah. But I would like to do, hopefully down the line we'll win a pro-am and do it on a smaller system and have that experience as well.
Yeah, I can understand how it kind of feels a little bit taken out of your hands, but at the same point, that's really exciting, and it's very cool to see that your guys' beer is getting made that way.
It's also, I mean, we're one of 3 people that have been able to do it there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, the second of 3.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if any more are.
Right.
So, we might be, it was a very privileged position to be in. So I can't wait to see how it comes out.
It's one of those ones that you guys can put on your brewer's resume for forever now. So that's always cool.
And my favorite part is the entire story about how the Listerner came to be because I'm a moron.
Right.
That's part of my favorite. The other thing is, it's a fucked up beer. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect to anybody who won for a Pilsner or anything, but, like, they had to brew a Lichtenhainer. Like, fucking, I can't wait to be in the tasting room when they release this
Yeah.
and have someone who doesn't know us order it. I'm going to be, like, this close to their face when they drink it. I'm going to be
Like,
right up in front
Do
of them.
I know you?
Yeah, I'm going to be like, I'm sorry I have to be so uncomfortably close, but you're about to drink my beer and I want to see your reaction as close as humanly possible. It's going to be really, really cool. You know, and I also can't wait to listen to Greg Kelly destroy it and say it sucks just because we didn't like Stash It. So,
Yeah.
rather, Kevin didn't like Stash It. Sorry.
Yeah. It's only me that hates it. You guys love it. You guys.
I don't love it, but I also didn't.
He had a can of it yesterday at the Stein Brew, and I was like,
How much did he buy up?
Probably the rest of it. I don't know. But I yelled him and his mom. I yelled across the thing. I'm like, "Where's the heat?" Turns around. No, I love you, Greg. Thank you for everything. But it was a great day. I really enjoyed it. I think that was cool. My second least favorite part of the day was putting on turbo toes.
Oh yeah,
Turbo toes?
Yeah, do you know what those are?
I'm assuming it's some kind of footwear.
If I looked at
they're
it,
slip-on steel toes.
yeah,
Okay.
and you feel like you're wearing swing things
You
all
know,
the time.
yeah, like
the extra wave in your toe. You know
Yeah.
that like feeling when you kick up.
kind of like
Yeah.
clean room booties,
Yeah.
Okay. No.
except it's
I've,
molded rubber with steel toe on.
And
it.
Okay.
they're like, hey, what size shoe you? I'm like, I'm 15. They're like, this might fit. And they just threw me two that were like clearly for size 13 because no
Yeah.
one ever gets them that big.
Yeah.
I wrenched those things on. I had them on for like 10 hours or 8 hours or so. Oh boy,
That's not fun.
no. But it was cool.
Mark, did you just wear yours?
I wore
toes?
my boots. Yeah,
Yeah, you wore your steel toes, and they were like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Oh, he wears everyday shoes.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
I'm wearing them now.
Yeah, I know you are.
I just wear regular boots. I don't wear steel toe boots for work. But that's fine. Just me.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, again, congratulations. And if you've had a Jester King beer and you really love it, or if you get a chance to have that Lichtenhainer, let us know. Get in touch with us. Hit us up and tell us about it because we would love to hear about it. I don't think we have anything else, guys. Do you?
No, I just want to thank Blue Point and LIVME for helping us do some cool shit.
Yeah.
And Jack, of course, for the beer again.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks, everybody, and cheers. Enjoy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
If you enjoyed Beertastic Voyage, please be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to review and rate us. The guys can be found online at www.beertasticvoyage.com, on Facebook at www.facebook.com/beertasticvoyage, and Twitter and Instagram at Beertastic Show, or send them a good old-fashioned email at beertasticvoyage@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and cheers for local beers.